Wow, it's been quite a journey to get to this episode. Wouldn't you say so?
I don't know the last time that we did an episode.
I think it's been 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Because we did 2 episodes around that era. The era being the pre-Wildfires era.
Pre-Wildfire era, yeah.
Which is like LA's 9/11.
It's devastating. It's heartbreaking. It's still ongoing. We're not out of the woods.
We're not out of the woods at all. I mean, Palisades Fire is only what?
33, 40, 50% contained?
No. That's Eaton. Eaton is closer to that. Palisades is like 23 or some shit.
The air quality is still garbage. Like, things are not.
And new little fires are popping up here and there. There's a new fire that popped up in San Bernardino.
Do you know a big reason why this is such an issue? I can't remember what year it was, but it was the late 1890s. The original people that lived here did controlled burns because they knew the importance of when you have like such a dry, arid place, you get a lot of foliage that pops up when we have rain and then it dries out immediately. It's tinder. So they used to have controlled burns. But the people who came here were like, these natives, they keep lighting fires.
Yeah,
But
now all we have is a shitty dating app instead of real Tinder.
Instead of real Tinder, we just have a shitty dating app that I'm forever banned from. And we have gigantic wildfires that wreak havoc on
the populace.
On every world.
The worst part of this whole thing for me is the fact that the main reservoir, the central reservoir that would have stored the water that the firefighters could have accessed through these fire hydrants, many of which were just not pumping out water at all. This reservoir was empty completely. And the reason for that is because the lid had debris on it. They didn't want the debris to get in the water. Okay, so get it fucking clean. And then they didn't get it clean. So because it didn't get clean, it was left empty for a whole year.
That's insane.
For a job that could have taken them a week to fix.
Well, did you also know that the Resnicks own like over half of California's water supply?
And why aren't they building more reservoirs? Why aren't they filling?
They're monopolizing things. Well, because also, you know how like the world functions on made up numbers, and they're like, this is the projected amount of money that exists, but we're just kind of making up numbers. They do the same thing with our water.
Yeah.
And so the water is overpromised, and it doesn't actually exist though. And if we don't fill the aquifers and the reservoirs, it doesn't actually exist. The water in LA is like student loan debt.
Yeah.
Technically exists, but does it exist? Where does it exist? Is it benefiting anybody? And the answer is, just like student loan debt, is no. We, the people who are funding all of the infrastructure, that's all tax payer funded stuff, but it's being used for private stuff. So we don't have there's layers upon layers of
corruption.
Of corruption.
I mean, I guess it was used for fucking Karen Bass to fly out of LA and go to Ghana, even though she knew. You are warned about these kind of weather patterns if you're the mayor of LA. And Gavin Newsom, the buck stops at him. I mean, he totally fucked up.
Everybody blew it.
Everyone blew it.
Everyone blew it. Except for
Abeba Button.
Oh, no, I wasn't going to say
Abeba Button's a hero.
I'm not a hero.
We'll talk about it.
I'm a human. But the city of LA, the people of LA, Angelinos really showed up, and there's been a huge outpour of volunteers, a huge outpour of donations. Yeah. And the city got everybody. The government doesn't, but your neighbor does.
Yeah, it's true. It's really fucked up what's happening. Also, the whole layer of insurance companies not being able to pay out.
Oh, it's evil.
It's so evil. They took away. They're like, before this whole disaster happened, they're like, yeah, we're not going to cover you because of this bylaw, that thing, this thing, that
we just think that we don't want to do it anymore. We're just not feeling it today.
Knowing that these fires were going to happen. So they got rid of whatever. They got rid of the one thing in the policy that would have covered these people.
Another reason why there's a bunch of conspiracy theories going around, and people are saying it's the homeless, it's lasers, it's lizard people, whatever. But a lot of people are trying to say that these are man-made fires, which they are in a sense, but people are trying to say that it's arson.
It's Edison. What about Edison, the gas company?
Oh yeah, they're
at least somewhat responsible for this. What about half the fucking budget of firefighters getting cut before?
Oh yeah,
there's so many layers.
There's so many layers. This. But they're trying to use the arson as a loophole, because if arson becomes a more credible
it's a
opinion,
scapegoat. Yeah,
it's a scapegoat for insurance companies even further, because arson wouldn't be covered, right? The same way a natural disaster would.
I still don't know what happened to you, like where your life went the night of the evacuation, because our nights separated, and then from that point to you came over yesterday or the night before. We still haven't spoken about it. There's a whole 5-6 day gap of I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
So please tell us about your journey from point A to point B to the best of your ability. And
I I was here with you, right? Because the Pacific Palisades Fire was raging. It was really smoky over there. So I'm like, okay, come chill out over here. I'm watching the news. I'm seeing that the fire's getting closer. I'm not too anxious. But when they started giving like the evac warnings and like Santa Monica and closing those things off, I was like, okay, well, it's time to go get my basic personal belongings, because I'm not ashamed. I love being a prepper. I love being prepared. I've survived multiple natural disasters, and it is really disheartening to lose your shit because you're not prepared.
Right.
Obviously not everybody can be prepared, and you don't have access to get home. But if you have time, if you have access to get your stuff out, it's really important if you can. And I really, because I've lost all of my belongings before in a fire. And in a flood.
And in a flood. Right.
I was like, my trauma is coming in a handy way. So I started preparing.
Your trauma allows you to lock in faster.
Because I take it seriously, because I'm like, oh shit. And not only that, I'm like, I don't know how bad it, I don't know how bad it could get. The nature of these things is really unpredictable.
Yeah.
And what seems like is a small fire, and you think, well, there's, like you said, we had hydrants and we didn't have water. People are showing up to fight fighters and there isn't water.
Yeah, because the reservoir wasn't fucking filled.
So
It's
if you
ridiculous.
you could even have the manpower there and not be able to do anything.
The negligence, the level of negligence it takes to not be prepared for these kind of disasters that
on a city, the city that's notorious for having fires should probably be prepared for fires.
It's unbelievable. So anyway, you filled the cars with gas and supplies, right?
I got the cars filled with supplies and gas because I wasn't sure. And at the time we're located in Hollywood. I was out in Eaton, Arcadia area when the Eaton Fire began. I drove home or back to your place.
Well, wait, just start. So you're at my place.
No, you skipped ahead in the story because you're saying I filled the cars up before the cars got filled up.
My bad. Okay.
I was in Arcadia when the Eaton Fire broke out.
I see. Okay, gotcha.
I drove home and I almost got hit with a street sign was flying in the road. It was like a video game because the winds were 100 miles per hour. I saw it break out, and while I was driving, I saw it go from like a tiny flicker to like the whole.
It's like a zombie apocalypse movie.
It was very apocalyptic. It went from like a tiny little flicker in the back to the whole mountain being on fire. You can see the smoke. There's trees falling down, like full-size trees falling into the road.
So
People are driving
this
crazy.
is going from Arcadia back to your home in Venice.
No, back to Hollywood.
Hollywood. Okay.
I come to Hollywood. I download the Fire app, the Watch Duty. Because driving home through that was just insane. I didn't know where to go. I was like, should I stay here? Where
should I stay or should I go?
Should I stay or should I go? My least favorite Clash song. So I go to sleep, but I don't really sleep well because I've experienced natural disaster before.
Yeah.
So I'm sleeping, but I'm sleeping like this, what do we got to do?
I know.
We got to lock in, soldier. God bless my Capricorn mother and her strict militaristic way. She was always on that shit. So I woke up and that's when I prepped the cars. Got water, got extra supplies, got extra full of the gas up and stuff like that. And I say, I know it seems crazy. I know the fire isn't going to get, or I don't know, but it's getting closer. Maybe I should go get my important documents. So I get my baby photos, my regular documents. I come back here. I'm like, okay, we're chill. We're prepped. We're packed.
You took a nap at that point, right?
I took a nap because I was so worked up and overwhelmed.
Yeah, you were.
That I was, because I'm
not in a bad way, by the way.
Very serious.
Yeah.
I'm about what's happening, and
you're ready to go to war.
I think in those moments, it's really important to listen to your body if you can. And it was one of those things where it's I should sleep now while everything is safe because I know I'm safe. Because in general, it doesn't feel too safe.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, that was super beneficial to me because what was it? 9 p.m. is when the fire did break out, because before it was just coming on from both sides.
I just want to pause for a sec and point out that the amount of people that reached out to me to ask if I was okay, or people where I was like, wow. And they're like, I love you, or I care about you, or whatever it was. Yeah. It was kind of life affirming in that sense.
Yeah.
Just as the fires started to break out.
Yeah.
People calling me and I'm like, anyways, continue.
Yeah. So I'm prepped. I'm packed. I remember telling a beak man, you gotta get packed, brother.
Yeah.
Be on it.
And I was in the middle of mixing
and recording
with
and nobody would think that it would get this far
artist.
Because it's those two fires were on the opposite ends of towns on both sides.
Yeah.
It would, for all intents and purposes.
I was deep in mixing brain.
Casa de Dino would be the safest place to be. Well, besides Long Beach.
Casa de Dino right now, where we are, our dot on the map is right outside the red flag warning zone right now, right? Because of the fact that like, well, they were predicting the winds were going to get more serious today, but like, knock on wood, we're doing pretty good right now.
Yeah.
We're doing great.
But like, we're not.
It could have been a lot worse today.
It could have been. And so we were here, we were ready. I was about to head to the gym, and then we got the evac notice here.
We got the through all of our phones, and that's like, get out, the zombies are coming.
And it was because there was
the fireball will crush you kind of vibes.
Yeah, the fire started 0.6 from the house, and the whole area went to immediate evac.
It's a Dante's Peak.
Yeah, it happened, and then it was time to go. And here's the shitty part is I felt so fucking vindicated though. Like, obviously I don't want the house to burn down or anything to become
but all that preparation you did.
But I was like, okay, yeah.
You were right.
I was like, we have to. This is why you stay. You don't have to get ready if you stay ready, baby.
Yeah.
And I felt like, okay, shit, we had that part down. So I left and I went and helped a family that lives in like South Pasadena area that wasn't directly in the fire area, but they were in that next zone over. Helped move some of their stuff out. Helped animals, people transport. And I was just basically running transport for people that I knew, because I put out a call. I haven't been doing anything directly with any mutual aid groups, in the past like 6 months to a year. I'll drop in here or there or repost a benefit, but I haven't been tapped in.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't sure who to reach out to, right? So I just put out my services, me. If you need me to come get you, you need me to go check on somebody's grandma, you need me to bring you supplies, like I'll just do that. So I had, a couple people reach out to me, and I was able to, do a little bit of that. There's definitely larger efforts now that all this devastation has happened. It's heartbreaking to see how many people have lost. I know personally people like 3 to 4 people that have lost their entire homes and all their stuff, and I can't even begin to imagine that. And even though I've been engaging with it, I've also been trying to be really mindful of the fact that, just in the same sense that like when somebody passes, right, and you have the funeral, the first couple of weeks after somebody dies, your fridge is full of food. Yeah. People are dropping by, they're checking in on you, but the real hard part, I think, comes a month down the road, 3 months down the road, right? When all of the check-ins kind of stop because the immediacy goes away, and we're going to be rebuilding for a really long time.
Oh, for a fucking very long time.
And like, there's so many layers to it too.
But back to your personal story, you were helping out a family in Pasadena.
Yeah.
And then you went to sleep. You went back to your place in Venice.
Yeah, eventually, yeah. No, I was out. I was bouncing around these last couple of days, and I went back to Venice.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Where were you? Like, what happened?
I just survived.
Yeah, but
there's no more. There's no more. As part of the story. That's the end of it.
That's the whole story.
That's the whole story. I was just helping people drive things back and forth.
Well,
then the fire went out.
Yeah,
and we're here now. At the end of that night, that's pretty much the largest stuff that happened. I didn't really do much besides that, other than go and rest.
Right. Well, you had to do a lot of rest because you were exposing yourself to toxic chemicals that were
smoke,
in the air.
Inhalation. Yeah, we still have respirators we need to pick up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the air quality's been terrible. I was already processing my own grief, and I'd gotten over being sick. Yeah, but nothing. That was it. I helped the family move out of the Pasadena area, and then it was pretty much big chillin'. Besides doing like supply drives and just trying to
that's what
rest and work.
You're saying supply drives like it's half a sentence. No.
It is.
No, but you're a hero. Like
I'm not a hero.
You're out there doing real shit.
No, that's not hero, and I wouldn't want to put it in that light.
All right.
So I'm merely doing what we should all be doing in times of crisis, right? It's so funny. I feel like all these people deride communism and socialism, but when big things happen, everybody kind of naturally reverts to it. I think that what we're seeing is actually closer to human nature than everybody being individualistic and working, like only for their gain. I think when things like this happen,
people try to come together.
People try to come together, which is why I'm not a hero. There's people that are doing way more, that are clocked in and doing heavier, bigger projects. I'm literally just helping my friends and doing like errands. I'm just running errands for people.
Well, that's okay. Well, you're still an angel.
Well, thank you. But that's why I'm like, the story ends there, because there's so much work to be done. And I think that the main focus is on where we're going to be, the next 2 to 3 months.
2-3 years.
2 to 3 years. I mean, they still want to bring the Olympics here. That's fucking insane to me.
We can't get the basics right.
We
We're in the negative.
Yeah.
We can't be doing plus stuff. No surplus stuff.
It's like all of our credit cards are maxed out.
Yeah.
Our rent is 3 months behind.
Yeah.
And we're like, should we go to Ibiza? Should we book a trip to Ibiza? Should we go out for brunch? No, bitch, you can't go. LA, no, you can't go out for brunch and mimosas. There's plenty of rebuilding and taking care of the people that live here already.
Eagles donates $2.5 million to Los Angeles Fire Aid benefit concert. Get the fuck out of the way, Melinda Newman.
Wow. Get fucked.
The band is managed by Irving Azoff, who's spearheading the show. This is the modern lineup of the Eagles. We got Thomas B. Schmidt, Vince Gill, who I don't know, Don Henley, Deacon Frey, who's Glenn Frey's son, Joe Walsh. Now, Eagles have always had a reputation of being right-wing assholes.
Mm-hmm.
So does this even the playing field energetically for the Eagles?
No, this is...
Doesn't, right?
This is...
What is this?
This is...
Is this saving face? Well, what are you
fake.
doing here?
It's laundering your reputation through philanthropy.
Well, this was a really fun episode.
I had fun.
Regardless of the fact that we have exited grave danger.
Narrowly escaped.
I mean, I didn't even mention trying to get out of the house. And the
oh, you didn't tell any of your story. Your story is a mystery.
I know, but I'll just mention this. The traffic, the gridlock was insane. We were on the news.
Yeah.
KTLA.
Yeah. The interview?
No, just like the shot of where I was.
Yeah, because that's what happens. In the Palisades, people were evacuating, and it was so bad that they abandoned their cars. They had to bulldoze cars.
It's so scary and sad seeing that shit.
Because things move so quickly.
I know.
You know? It's really sad.
It's really sad.
We need to raise money and maybe look into the structural issues, the deeper issues, because this is not going to get better.
Not in the fact that we're in the final stage of capitalism. It's not late stage anymore. This is the last stage.
This is it.
This is it.
This is act or die.
This is the oligarch has taken over. They're trying to funnel everything to the top and just fucking fuck you.
Yeah.
And not take accountability for fucking us. And
gaslight us, actually.
Gaslight us. And they're gaslighting us and lighting us up with wildfires that were totally avoidable.
Yeah.
Could have been avoided.
Could have had better support. There's so many things.
And this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for government corruption and corporate greed.
Yeah.
We have to change stuff because
it's now.
Yeah.